And guess who's in the lead?
Carlos Munoz goes to the front with 10 laps to go.
And really no surprise, guys, because he's an Andretti car. And Andretti, you think about from a year ago how they really struggled in this race, but came here with a new Honda package, and they have been so strong ever since they unloaded off the trailer.
A lot of lead changes late in the race in recent years. We talked about this being the most competitive time in the history of the 500 this last decade. I don't think we've seen the last lead change yet. Question is, will there be more than one before the checkered flag? How many will there be?
He's opening up the air for everybody behind him, so they'll be right back on him probably in a lap and a half. It's very difficult to lead Alan around here.
As you guys were mentioning before, they've all pitted on the same lap of Carlos Munoz and Newgarden and Kanaan. Hinchcliffe, who's a bit further back, so everybody's in the same boat right now.
Closer we get to the end, the closer you'll see cars taking different lines.
Kanaan's pit crew has just put tires out. Tony Kanaan's pit crew has put tires out in front of us on the pit lane. So look for the third place driver to dive in here. Here he comes.
9 laps to go.
Scott Dixon also pitting. Matty Brabham was the other car leading into the pit lane there.
Under 77, guys.
Jan?
And even though they put out tires for Tony Kanaan, look for those who stop now with only 8 laps to go. They may not take the tires because all they need is fuel, but they're going to go for Tony Kanaan with tires. He won't need a whole lot of fuel, so this is a strategy call. I think there'll be others who might try a splash without taking tires.
Kanaan had a little bit of trouble getting going, it looked like there, out of his pit box.
You know, always, when you know there's a car coming that you would like to beat out of the pit lane, you're a little anxious, and lit up those rear tires and just didn't get enough traction by the looks of it.
So Newgarden leading Munoz, now Munoz by Newgarden. 7 laps to go.
So it looks like you managed to keep the lead for a lap and a half.
There's the gap from Kanaan back to the race leaders.
Kanaan's trying to do is he's trying to run some great laps right now. He'll try and get past Matty Brabhams, who's going a little slower than him. But Kanaan wants to just put some laps down. So when the other guys come in pit lane, he hopes that he's made enough time up that he comes out and he's contention with them for the victory.
So with the shuffling of all that's happened in the last 100 miles of this race, Hinchcliffe is third, 3 seconds behind the leaders. Oriol Servia is up to fourth. Alexander Rossi is fifth. Now Rossi passing Servia as Oriol pits. Will these two run out of gas? Will they come to pit road? If so, when and how will it shake out? Everyone here at Indianapolis on this front stretch side standing up as the pit stops begin to unfold in the pit side grandstands.
Newgarden in the pits.
Simon Pagenaud ahead of him. 5 laps to go. Hinchcliffe also pitting this lap. Doc?
Here's Joseph Newgarden. They said it's going to be a splash of fuel. He was only like 2 laps short. And rolling in front of him, James Hinchcliffe. 5 seconds of fuel for Newgarden. Hinchcliffe likewise just getting a top off, and he is away for the final laps at Indy.
All right, here, buddy.
And here comes Munoz. Doc?
And the final stop, this could be the critical stop that determines who wins or loses this race. 24-year-old Carlos Munoz, a huge Juan Pablo Montoya fan, said, I want to do what Juan did in 2000. 4 seconds of fuel, he is away.
Watching Tony Kanaan. So now Alexander Rossi will become the new leader of this race with Helio Castroneves in second. There's Rossi in the 98. Graham Rahal is a lap down to him. Rahal in the red car right behind him.
Then we have 3 laps to go.
So the question is, was he gentle enough on the fuel mileage to be able to make it to the end?
He last pitted at 164, 36 to go.
Much like the other guys did at lap 164, they came in. Was he far enough back and, like I said, soft enough on the gas pedal to maybe not have to come in for the splash of fuel? He looks like he's starting to run just a slower pace, guys. 2:14 that last lap. Tony Kanaan was about 2:21.
2 laps to go. Can a rookie win the 500 on an economy run?
What a story that would be.
Letting everybody go. He had a half a lap lead on Carlos Munoz, who came off the pit lane ahead of those who were the leaders. He's coming to the white flag. 1 more lap to go.
No, it's half a lap lead, clutch and coast, save fuel, clutch and coast.
Boy, I'm just thinking about Robbie Gordon running out of gas back in 1999.
There's Munoz in the blue and black car. He and Newgarden are going to race for second at the moment unless Rossi runs out of fuel. He's off of turn 2. He's half a lap to go.
Full throttle, full throttle, full throttle, full throttle.
Message is you're now going too slow.
Got this, bring it home, he's down to 2. Hey, push, push.
He's done it.
Checkered flag is in the air. A first-timer is going to win the 100th Indianapolis 500-mile race. California's Alexander Rossi to the checkered flag, and he's done it.
Checkered flag, you just won the Indy 500, baby! Oh my God. Awesome job! Oh my God. Oh my God, you guys. Awesome job, buddy. Great job, everybody. I'm out of fuel, guys. You did.
10 laps to go. Here's Sato again with another run on Chilton. Too late in the straightaway.
Passes that are done here are usually arranged the previous turn. So in turns 3 and 4, if you want to pass down in 1, then the opposite. Because if you don't try and do it going into a turn 2 or 4, you just never get it accomplished.
Everything is so close now. You cannot lift off. If you do, because you make a mistake in a pass, you'll get passed by 3 other cars.
So this is where he needs to stop looking and just set himself coming out of 4 to get a draft going down the front stretch and then pass into 1 if he can do it.
Chilton is doing everything he can to stop him on the outside.
Here comes Sato for the race lead into 1, side by side. Chilton keeps his foot in it, holds him off.
Chilton knows what line to take at this point. Everybody's tried that. I've seen it 3 or 4 times, and he maintains the lead.
Now Castroneves, can he get a run on Sato for second? Outside. And he's got him.
Great job, great job.
What an amazing pass.
Yes.
300,000 jump to their feet and roar as the 3-time winner takes a run at Max Chilton, the race leader.
See, Castroneves was smart, didn't try it in 1. He'll get the speed coming out of 2. Hopefully a draft down the backstretch. This is experience.
He can't afford to try a pass and then have to lift. And here is Sato back in the picture. Let's see if Chilton's line works again. And it does.
Previously, we've seen all the passes going into one because they usually have a headwind coming down the front stretch. Right now, because of the windsock and the way the wind is working, you have wind coming onto your car coming out of 3. That allows these guys to be able to
run here.
Commit to the pass.
Got to run here. Chilton stays in it. He's got it. Nevis to the race lead. Now for second place, Sato inside of Chilton, giving Castroneves a little breathing room. Sato with a big run here. Takuma Sato to the lead.
We still have 5 laps to go.
Chilton has lost third spot to Ed Jones.
Stay focused.
You've got to think Sato was feeling every vibration in that engine, every change of sound, anything different. After this lap, he has 4 to go, only 4 laps to go.
Sato, the 40-year-old from Tokyo. Remember in 2012, racing Dario Franchitti for the win. He went for it. Didn't work out. The car spun on him, and Franchitti won. But Sato back in the control of this race, but he's still got 3 and change laps to go with the 3-time winner Castroneves trying to find a way back to him. Good run here for Elio.
In the past, the best position to be is second place with 1 or 2 laps to go.
But we know that Honda seems to have just a little bit more power, a little bit more speed when you're running in a battle like this. But Elio's doing all the correct things, following in the draft perfectly.
The worst thing that can happen for Castroneves is if Jones gets on his tail and forces him to drive defensively.
.221.6 miles an hour last lap.
2 to go.
He's going to try the outside again. Nope.
Can't get it done there because the wind does not work with you. It has to be down the other end.
And Jones has closed the gap on Castroneves.
A lap and a half to go for Takuma Sato. He's won once in IndyCar Series competition. Former Formula One driver. Had one getaway a few years ago. Now he's going to see the white flag, and he's opened up a little bit of a gap on Castroneves. 1 lap to go in the Indy 500.
White flag. Keep hustling.
Castroneves tries to close, Sato tries to defend. 2 corners until the checkered flag.
Still clear by 2.
The one that got away comes back to him. Checkered flag is in the air, and the 101st Indianapolis 500 is won by Takuma Sato.
Indeed, it will be.
I think that's an understatement from John Boslog. Just one other driver we want to talk about in this line of cars, that pink and black car right there, number 60, Jack Harvey, driving for Michael Shank, former driver who's made a name building a team in sports car racing, at one time mortgaged his home to keep his team alive. Now his dream to be an IndyCar owner, here for a second year. Harvey, former winner on the oval in the Freedom 100, the Indy Light Series race they have here on Carb Day, making just his second 500-mile race start. And here he finds himself running in third position inside the final 10 laps. What do you think's going through his head?
Remember, he said last year, along with Michael Shank, can't believe that they're here. It's a dream come true. But there is no doubt that your butterflies are in your stomach. And as we're looking here on the left-hand side of the car, the mirror is missing for Oriol Servia. Now, as a leader, Eddie, I'm not sure I'm going to be looking in the mirrors all that much. No. And also remember, you do have the spotters up in turn 1 and turn 3 to let the driver know if there's somebody looking on the high side, the low side. But at this point in time, when the time to go green, there's the spotters all lined up there for all the teams. I would not be looking in the mirrors whatsoever. I'll be putting my foot on the gas.
Going to get the 1 to go signal at the start-finish line. We will get green with 7 laps to go in the 500. Wow.
And heart rate is pumping right now.
And we know, back to a point that Eddie made earlier today, Scott, and your thoughts on this, but as difficult once they get sorted out to pass as it's been, how aggressive everybody's going to be at the drop of the green flag.
You don't even weigh the risk-reward ratio anymore. You just go for it. We heard John Boslog talk about willpower, go high or go low. You are going to take any opening that's in front of you because he wants to dispatch a car a lap so then he can get out in front and take off from Scott Dixon. Remember, Scott Dixon, not as much fuel, but I think that also willpower's got a faster
right
car.
Now, the driver who's leading, Servia, has to be, if he can, a little bit sneaky on how he takes off, because if you take off where they expect you to on the restart, you will get passed into one. We saw that earlier in the race, so you've got to find a way to put just enough distance between you and the cars behind. But his problem is there's a lot of guys behind him that are thinking exactly the same thing.
Well, the other side of that too is that where you are with willpower, those 3 guys up in front, not as much experience with the exception of Oriol Servia. If there's something happening in front of him, you have to get through that accident also.
So coming to the green flag. How long will we race under green with all of that aggressiveness? Another factor in trying to get all you can as fast as you can.
I would say the odds are off of making it through without any problems on the first restart.
These 300,000 people have all just stood on their feet, coming to the green flag on a late restart to see who wins in Indianapolis.
He didn't get enough. He did not get enough.
Here comes Wilson, looking on Servia for the lead. Harvey in the inside, Power in the silver car. Wilson gets it. Power had to check up. How much will that cost him?
I think Dixon's going to get around him.
Stephen Wilson leads the Indianapolis 500.
Unbelievable. Power's going to have to start passing cars. There's not that many laps to go.
Got to get around Servia quick here. Power looking in the draft. Breaks to the outside and he'll get to third place. 6 laps to go.
thing for Will Power. He's got fresher tires on his car by about 20 laps, so there's definitely going to be more grip.
He's almost close enough to make a pass at the end of this lap.
But
not quite. Needs another 6 feet.
Power tracking Harvey. Going to look. Won't have it in this set of corners.
Now it's all about timing. Sit back here for a little and then get on the gas.
Watch the throttle. Ooh, he lost time in that lap.
His right hand went down to make an adjustment on the anti-roll bar to change the handling of his car. What a story for Stefan Wilson. Does he have enough fuel?
Oh, he's going to have
in
to
the
pit.
pits.
And Harvey pits.
in the pits.
And Will Power takes the lead at Indianapolis with 4 laps to go.
You be the leader, my man.
This is where it's more difficult on the team and the spouse. You're driving the car. You know what you're doing out there. The team right now only sees you come back the front stretch all the time. The spouse, the same thing. For Liz, she's just got to wonder if he'll make it to the end.
Clear by 10.
We'll check his speed. His last lap was a 2:16.
Go hard here. We got cars pit.
Three laps to go.
That lap was a 2:20.
Which, compared to the race pace we've seen for a lot of the days, is blistering.
Is really fast, and the car that's following him just did a 2:16. This is Power's race.
Will Power, for a number of years, talked about having difficulty managing the mental aspect of racing, the pressure situations, had difficulty with that. Got himself into position to win a championship, had to lose one to win one, finally won that championship. Then the oval track racing. People said he's not a good oval track racer. He's a supreme road course racer. He worked on it, losing out to Montoya in 2015 here, but finishing second. Springboarded Will Power's confidence level at this racetrack. And now here he is, I've told you before, so smooth and so calm and so confident all month. And now just over a lap away from checking that last box of career goals.
He's got one back marker to cut through.
And that box that you talk about, we mentioned earlier on the show, if you drive for Roger Penske, yes, you can win championships. As he's coming up for 1 lap to go, the white flag is flying, but you need to make sure that you win an Indianapolis 500 if you want to retain your job with Team Penske.
Clear by 40.
The lap car is Charlie Kimball. You hear the radio call, clear by 40 car lengths, 2 corners to go. Fans on their feet waving and cheering. He'll never be introduced the same way again. From now on, it'll be Will Power, Indianapolis 500 winner for 2018. Checkered flag, Power and Penske win it.
Unbelievable.
Oh my God! Hell of a job there, big guy. Good job, number 12. Oh, great job, guys. Great, thank you. You're a hell of a man there.